On February 4, 2012, a Sunday night, the New York Knicks were on their last legs after losing 11 of their previous 14 games. They had to win because they were playing the lowly New Jersey Nets, but things were still not going well for them. Lacking other options, coach Mike D'Antoni chose to send an Asian basketball player named Jeremy Lin as his third-string point guard. His only option was to play this card, but it ended up being the best one, and that last-ditch choice led to one of the most incredible moments in NBA history. That evening, Jeremy Lin turned the night on its head, and the world saw the beginning of the Linsanity phenomenon. He played 36 minutes against the New Jersey Nets that night, contributing 25 points and 7 specialized assists to a 99-92 victory. However, Jeremy Lin vanished from the NBA years later. Where is he now? And how did the Linsanity craze leave the NBA? You are watching Sportsman Pro, and in today's video, we will be delving into Jeremy Lin's story, including his brief ascent to superstardom, what caused his downfall, and his numerous attempts to make a comeback. Although the 6'3" basketball player Jeremy Lin may have swept the NBA in 2012, those who know him can attest that he was always a great player. He finished his senior year averaging 15.1 points, 7.1 assists, 6.2 rebounds, and 5 steals. He was named first-team All-State and Northern California Division II Player of the Year. Despite the accolades and obvious talent, Lin wasn't receiving scholarship offers from any colleges. So Lin decided to mail his resume and a DVD of his high school basketball career's best moments to every Ivy League school. However, none of them wanted to give Lin an athletic scholarship. It was becoming quite evident that something was wrong. For some reason, it was unusual for a person of Asian heritage to play basketball, even if that Asian person was as skilled as Jeremy was and had already established himself on the floor. Thus, a young basketball player with Lin's talent wasn't being actively pursued. Jeremy Lin was adamant about proving himself and overcoming any challenge in the way of his ambition to play in the NBA. He enrolled at Harvard and was immediately given a spot on the team. Despite being the least talented and physically weakest player on the team, Lin had matched up and averaged 12.6 points by his second season. By the time he reached his junior year, he was the only men's basketball player competing in NCAA Division I who was ranked among the top 10 in his conference. Most famously, after his team had recently defeated top-ranked North Carolina, he led them to a ruthless victory over the 17th-ranked Boston College Eagles. He improved significantly during his senior year, earning multiple accolades for both himself and his team. He was listed as one of the top 12 all-around college basketball players by ESPN's Fran Fraschilla. Lin could play for any professional club, according to Hall of Fame Connecticut coach Jim Callahan, who cited Lin's mature abilities and general composure. Yet no NBA team would select Lin, even though he concluded his career as the first Ivy League player to record 1480 points, 487 rebounds, 406 assists, and 225 steals. Were they not acknowledging him because he went to Harvard, an Ivy League institution? Or was it that nobody was ready to consider a rookie Asian American? We are unable to say for sure. What is known, though, is that Lin was not drafted at the 2010 by a selection despite his qualifications and evident talent. However, Lin, in his characteristically tenacious manner, decided that if they weren't going to notice him, he would compel them to. Following a brief minicamp with the Dallas Mavericks, Donnie Nelson invited Lin to participate in the NBA Summer League in Los Angeles. Lin consistently demonstrated his abilities, averaging 9.8 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 1.8 assists in 18.6 minutes per game, and elevating a squad that was previously struggling to the top of the standings. Lin started receiving offers from groups like the Mavericks, Golden State Warriors, and Los Angeles Lakers following his performance at the Summer League. Soon after, Lin agreed to a 2-year contract with the Warriors of his hometown, providing him with some NBA season security during the 2010 to 2011 NBA season. Lin was the first American of Chinese and Taiwanese origin to play in the NBA after being signed. The young man's circumstances didn't exactly get much better, though. He played for a relatively brief period, but he had more playing time after being assigned to the Reno Bighorns, a Warriors D-League affiliate. In 29 games, Jeremy would average 2.6 points on 38.9% shooting to end his debut NBA season. However, on the first day of training camp, Lin was released by the Warriors. He was then claimed by the Houston Rockets, but before the season could even begin, he was waived yet again. The New York Knicks then claimed Lin off of waivers to serve as a backup for Mike Bibby and Tony Douglas, which once again meant that he would only see limited action. He had no one to turn to since he was being unfairly limited in the NBA. Around this time, Linsanity began to take off, when he was called off the bench by coach Mike D'Antoni in a last-ditch effort to rescue a losing game. Jeremy Lin carried the faltering Knicks team on his back for 3 weeks, leading them to 7 straight victories and 10 victories in 13 games, getting the crowd on its feet. Over that perplexing span, Lin would average 22.3 points and 9 assists per game, and at its apex, he scored a career-high 38 points on national television against the Kobe Bryant-led Los Angeles Lakers. Soon later, Jeremy Lin had a meniscus tear, which put an end to the Linsanity streak. Despite his amazing performance for the Knicks after that, Jeremy Lin's situation started to deteriorate once more. Despite the fact that they needed him, the Knicks refused to hire and keep him. Following this, Lin participated in 7 additional NBA seasons with 6 different teams. He first rejoined the Houston Rockets in 2013, starting all 82 games and averaging 13.4 points per game before being sent back to the bench. In the following offseason, he signed with the Lakers, and in 2014, he hit a career-high 36.9% from beyond the arc. And just as Lin's situation seemed to be improving, he suffered another injury, forcing him to sit out 46 games for the Nets in 2016-17. He was still able to finish strongly, but the following year, after falling on his knee, he ruptured his patella tendon and was forced to miss an entire season. By the time he got back on the court, he was a bench player for the Hawks and later the Raptors. Lin became the first East Asian American and the first Harvard graduate to play in an NBA final when the Raptors defeated his former team in the championship game. After this, Lin was forced to leave the NBA since his options became increasingly limited and no one seemed interested in keeping him. Lin has twice joined the Beijing Ducks following his career in the NBA. However, after 1 year of dominating in the CBA, he decided to return to the NBA in the off-season, but that unfortunately didn't work out. His only choice with his original team, the Golden State Warriors, was to compete against rookies in the G League. Lin viewed it differently, even though this would have been considered an insult to anyone with Lin's resume and stature. He saw this as an additional chance to establish himself, which he achieved. Jeremy Lin is 34 years old and many would claim is now too old to play basketball for the NBA. People had ignored the Asian American player's evident talent from Harvard to the NBA, with team coaches and managers subsequently confessing they should have signed or drafted him. However, this does not lessen Lin's accomplishments as a player, both within and outside the NBA. He has proven himself worthy over and over again, and it's the loss of those who snubbed, disregarded, and did not embrace his talent despite its evidence. His perseverance and refusal to give up in the face of overwhelming obstacles serve as an inspiration for young Asian Americans who hope to play in the NBA one day. What do you think of Jeremy Lin's story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please leave a like and subscribe. This is Sportsman Pro, and we will see you in the next video.